your day to shine. Now, we spent a lot of time on this program trying to figure out the best way to deal with Iran's nuclear program. Well, never been able to find any easy answers until now. This is just genius. It is. All we have to do is just pretend that Iran doesn't have a secret nuclear program. That way, we don't have to do anything. I mean, it's brilliant. Actually, I want you to know I can't take credit for that idea. I stole that idea from the UN. Actually, the guy who oversees the International Atomic Energy Agency, he was on with Wolf Blitzer yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
We haven't seen any concrete evidence to that effect, Wolf. We haven't received any information that there is a parallel ongoing active nuclear weapon program.
I assume, when he says information, he means everything, aside from their president openly calling for the Jews to, what was it again, burn in the fires of the Islamic fury, or operating centrifuge cascades that could easily be converted to weapons once they kick the inspectors out. But other than that, nothing. Fortunately, the United States is not, at least yet, fully governed by the United Nations Charter. We're still allowed to make a few decisions on our own. And, like I've been warning you now for over a year, the real story is it is becoming more and more likely that President Bush is going to act on Iran with force before the end of his term. This is not good news. The latest evidence is, quote, an urgent operational request from battlefield commanders for $88 million to retrofit a B-2 stealth bomber so they can carry our brand new 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs. That request, by the way, is buried in a $190 billion emergency war spending bill. Kind of curious, really, when you think that, don't we have complete air superiority in both Iraq and Afghanistan? Where's the one place we don't have it? I know. The one place where a combination of large bombs and stealth technology could come kind of in handy would be Iran. Make no mistake, it doesn't matter if the UN believes Iran has a secret nuclear program, because the U.S. and Israel do. We've learned lessons from World War II. We understand you must take people at their word. And that's why, if the Iranian regime does not collapse on its own, then you can mark my words. You will not see the stealth planes in the skies over Iran, but you will see those bombs, whether the UN or anybody else likes it or not. Ann Bayefsky, she is at the Hudson Institute. Tell me, Ann, who is the leader of... This is the same guy who came out and said that Saddam Hussein doesn't have weapons of mass destruction, and it turns out that he's right, or he was.
Well, this is Mohammed al-Baradei. I like to think of him as the sort of the Tweedledum of, and Iran as the Tweedledee. The two of them spin each other at the United Nations. Iran says nothing here, and Mohammed al-Baradei says, I ain't seen anything. And,
well, wait a minute, hang on. I mean, this will add a lot of credibility to a lot of people. He won a Nobel Peace Prize, so he's not a dummy. What evidence do you have that he is in bed with Iran?
Well, winning a Nobel Peace Prize isn't exactly evidence that you're not a dummy.
No, I know.
But let's face it, 1,580 days ago, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, which Mohammed al-Baradei heads, decided that Iran wasn't living up to its legal obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. And since then, what do we have? 2 Security Council resolutions calling on them to stop its enrichment activities. This morning, al-Baradei spoke to the General Assembly and said, oops, actually, they haven't lived up to those obligations under the Security Council resolutions, and they're continuing their enrichment activities. So what's his plan? His plan is to watch, talk, just keep the conversation going. And in the meantime, we really know that this is a code language for do nothing, and watch them develop the bomb.
And can you help me understand why people are not paying attention to Israel bombing a warehouse or some sort of a complex where we say that North Korea was helping them build a nuclear processing plant? Why is nobody paying attention to that? Why is there not more outrage in the Middle East? Why is there not more play here in America?
Well, I guess if you dug too deep, you might find that actually they were pursuing nuclear weapons. We wouldn't want to find that. And after all, Syria's pretty isolated. Iran has more friends. Like take Germany, for example. Germany has 116 major corporations doing business in Iran today. If we were serious about diplomacy, if the Germans cared about Iran developing a bomb, then they would have bilateral sanctions much stronger than they have. They wouldn't wait around for the United Nations. So Iran has friends in high places.
Okay. Ann, thanks a lot. As far as the average